$280 per month. That is just the minimum of what the Biden administration is planning to do to provide for lower income Americans. And I want to address what's happening here because there's more and more news that's now coming out as what the Biden administration is planning on doing and how that is potentially going to support and assist those people here in the United States. Now, let's address what's going on, but first, all I ask is if you can spend just 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button for YouTube algorithm, and let's begin. So, where is this stimulus coming from? Because I hear it all the time. That I live in, New York and there's no stimulus. I live in Florida, there's nothing. I live in Washington State and I'm receiving absolutely no help. Well, here's what's going on. The Biden administration is trying to figure out a way to provide about, billions and billions of dollars in additional stimulus. And the way they're trying to do that at this point is through student loan forgiveness. However, we've known this, that there is an issue within the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is supposed to have an answer very soon. Well, here's what I can tell you. The average student loan balance here in the United States is roughly $38,000. That means that the average payment here in the United States is over $420 per month. Now, these figures are extremely important, and I want you to understand why that is. Because the Biden administration has a plan, and the plan is to provide additional support and relief to the American people. The way they go about doing it doesn't matter. What matters is we need to provide some support so that when it comes time for the presidential election in 2024, we have something that we can run on. At least that's what we're hearing. Well, here's what I can tell you. Right now, the Supreme Court is likely to vote against, or pretty much rule against, President Biden's plan of up to $20,000 in student loan forgiveness. That's going to happen very soon. As a result of this, these borrowers are going to need to continue making payments, which they have been legally able to avoid for more than 3 years. So where does this put us in terms of repayments, and how does this create additional stimulus or additional assistance for the American people? Well, what we know is that by the Biden administration coming out and saying that we have a plan, it's going to take some time, but we are now working towards it. This is pretty much just telling us that yes, what we are expecting is coming. So what are we expecting? Well, according to the Biden administration, they have a couple things in place. First, here's something that they were just discussing today. This is actually from Politico. This was reported just earlier on today. It says the Biden administration finalizes student debt safety net as repayment looms. And I'm going to address what that is in just a second. But again, this is just part of it. I'm talking about student loan repayments, but this is just part of the whole plan that they have in place. The other part is provide additional relief to children and parents, and to provide for Social Security recipients. So again, keep that in mind. We're talking about student loan relief, but this is just the start. It's pretty much a three-pillar approach. Student loan forgiveness, or student loan or student relief, whatever, right? Child tax credits, and we got some help for Social Security recipients. So this is the first one, their safety net. The other one is President Biden's plan to reduce payments, so lower income borrowers will not have to pay as much. Their plan is actually to move away from the repay program that President Barack Obama started. And this plan is to go from the repay plan over to the save plan. This is ultimately going to reduce their monthly payment by about, 50%. Again, huge. So let's talk about this. How does this equate to $280 per month? Well, I had to run the numbers, okay? So a person that owes, let's say, $400 per month, okay? If the person owes $400 per month, chances are they have about a $35,000, more, or $35,000 in debt. Okay. Now, if that person makes $15 per hour they would make about $2,400 per month. Here's the reason that's so important. If you make less than $15 per hour under the SAVE plan, you would actually see your payment go from normally a 10% amount of your disposable income to just 5%. Again, cutting it by 50%. Think about it. So at a maximum payment, if the person was paying $400 per month normally, under the SAVE plan, you would pay 10%, or under the REPAY plan, you would pay 10% of your disposable income. That's $240 a month under the REPAY plan. But under the SAVE plan, cut that in half and you're only paying $120, which saves you from $400 per month down to $120. That's $280 per month that you do not have to pay. Okay? That's how big of a deal this is. So that is one way that the Biden administration is trying to introduce stimulus. But get this, you still have to make the payment. Okay? You still have to pay off that debt. The only difference is you pay less money. So initially, it seems like it's helping. But in the long run, you're actually paying more. Again, this is why it's all part of the whole situation. Trying to deal with this is that we're just prolonging the payments and prolonging the pain, just kicking the can down the road. That's all we're really doing. But this isn't it, okay? That wasn't enough for the Biden administration. Here's what they want to do, okay? The Biden administration is currently working on finalizing something called the safety net, okay? It's called the safety net period. It says the Education Department finalized a 3-month grace period for missed payments once student loans come due. Well, when are they coming due? Well, let's dive into this article really quick. It says right here, the Education Department in recent weeks finalized a 3-month grace period for missed payments once student loans come due in October and directed loan services to be prepared to extend that flexibility for subsequent 90-day periods. Yeah, 90-day periods. Not period, periods. Multiple. It says according to 2 people familiar with the discussions, once interest accrual resumes on September 1st, under the department's current plans, it would continue to pile up even if borrowers miss payments. Again, but the Biden administration is looking into that. Now it says the policy, which would be dubbed internally as the safety net period, would prevent borrowers who fall behind on payments from getting dinged on their credit report well into 2024, likely beyond the presidential election. It would also prevent severely delinquent borrowers from suffering the consequences of a default until 2025 at the earliest. That is what they are now saying, okay? And again, it says officials have rebranded the policy as the SAVE plan, an acronym for Saving on Valuable Education, according to people familiar with the forthcoming regulation. That would ditch the Obama-era branded the Obama-era branding for the program, which has been called REPAY, or the Revised Pay-As-You-Earn program. Now, the purpose behind this is to provide additional support and relief to millions of people. That's the goal. So even though this is it's not a new thing, we had the REPAY program before, keep in mind, what's the goal here? Kick the can down the road. That's what's happening. So keep that in mind when it comes to Social Security, when it comes to children and parents and family members. The goal right now is to kick the can down the road when it comes to student loan debt. Because if they can kick it far enough down the road, past the presidential elections of 2024, guess what? According to experts, they say Democrats have an increased chance of retaining control over the presidency and retaining control over the Senate. But if they fail on this one issue, just student loan debt, that would actually hurt their chances of retaining control in the Senate. And there's a good chance, well, for one, President Biden wouldn't be president, but would it be a different Democrat, or would Republicans retain control over the presidency? That's something we don't know yet. But what I can tell you is that we are starting to get more and more reports not just about student loan debt, but about everything. So as we get more information, I promise I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates. All you gotta do is two things. First off, hit the like button on this video. Also click that subscribe button so you never miss an update. And I will see you guys on the next one.